So to our next match, and we're back to men's singles, and the number 8 seed Tommy Sugiarto from Indonesia. He's up against Hans-Kristian Vittinghus of Denmark. Well, this is from the top half of the draw. And the last spot in this section to be decided. So there is Vittinghus, 27 years of age, Friedrichshaven, northeast coast of Jutland. Tommy Sugiarto, now Indonesia's top-ranked men's singles player. Number 8 seed at these World Championships. Oh my goodness me, shot up 13 places in the world ranking over a 2-week period after a semi-final in the Indonesia Super Series event, and then a week later in Singapore he won his first ever title, Super Series title that is. So the number 8 seed Tommy Sugiarto against the Dane Hans-Kristian Vittinghus. Number 19 in the world ranking at the moment is Vittinghus. Has been as high as 14. That was last year. March, April last year. Spent 4 weeks up at number 14 in the world ranking. And he won the Spanish International recently. A couple of quarterfinals and 3 first-round losses as well. So a mixed season so far for the Dane. For the number 8 seed Tommy Sugiarto. Well, he reached number 7 in those world rankings. Spent 3 weeks there last couple of months. End of June he achieved that number 7 in the world ranking. First appearance at these World Championships. And of course, as we look at the Danish coach, Larsen. What was his first name?
Jesper Larsen.
Jesper, former world number 1 men's doubles player, of course. Name escaped me for a moment. Well, for Tommy Sugiarto, of course, an awful lot to live up to, because his father, Ichuk Sugiarto, was world champion exactly 30 years ago. The event staged in Copenhagen back in 1983. Of course, his father beat Liam Swee King in a thrilling final of the World Championships. Were you there watching that one, Steen?
I can't remember if I was. I don't think I was in the arena, but it was the most exciting men's singles final I've seen. Perhaps apart from Peter Rasmussen's win, where I actually was coaching.
Yeah. Well, it just shows how old I am, because I actually played in those World Championships in Copenhagen in 1983. Well, it's very surprising to me that this is the first time these two players have met each other.
Yeah, but I mean, if they hadn't been drawn against each other, I mean, they haven't been regularly going into semi-finals of the Super Series tournaments.
Hans-Kristian Vittinghus, Denmark. And on my left, Tommy Sugiarto, Indonesia. Tommy Sugiarto to serve. Level play.
So the umpire Uday Sane from India just calls for the start of the match. Yeah, you're right, Steen. They haven't been regularly reaching semi-finals of Super Series, but of course Vittinghus reached the semi-final of the Super Series finals at the end of last year in Shenzhen. And in fact, it was the last World Championships, wasn't it, that his place in the national team was saved, because he reached the quarter-final of the World Championships in Wembley, and he was under doubt of whether he should remain on the programme, but having got through to the quarter-final, obviously allowed to continue.
That sort of started his move towards the top 15. He replaced Jan-O Jorgensen at that World Championship and did really well and got into contention for an Olympic spot and actually managed to get into the top 16. Unfortunately for him, also Jan-O Jorgensen and Peter Gade was among the top 16, and only 2 were allowed to participate. But he's definitely raised his level over the last 2 years, and the same could be said about Tommy Sugiarto.
Member of the Athletes Commission now, Vittinghus. So that indicates to me, Steen, that he's probably a fairly thoughtful person and cares about the sport and the future of the sport. He's not just in it for himself. He wants to leave a legacy, and being involved with the Athletes Commission, of course, they get involved with the governing body and help and advise and give their opinions.
He's a very, very knowledgeable person and very likable person as well. I think he's got many fans all over the badminton community and all the world. Also interested in other sports. Actually, through his education, he's involved with the European Volleyball Championships in the organization committee there.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh! Well, not only a very likeable person, he's got a very likeable style, hasn't he? Vittinghus will never give up. Always entertainment value.
And I think he started the match out without any wounds on his knees, but I doubt that he'll finish it that way. And the lack of wounds right now just tells us that he's been having quite a long practice period. He had some trouble with his knees, so he had to take a break here in the spring, but has gotten over it. And I talked to him just before the Danish team left, and he actually had some kind of little injury that was bugging him, but nothing serious.
Yeah, good aggressive play.
They said on, I think it was on the Danish Association web page, that Tommy Sugiarto was one of the seeded players that he would rather meet than the 7 others in the top 8. I still think it's going to be a tough task for him to beat Sugiarto. The Indonesians have changed the coaching setup recently, and I think we're going to see 1 or 2 surprises from Indonesian players in this World Championship.
Yes, of course, the Indonesians have got the services of many former great players, like the man sitting behind the court, Joko Suprianto. Joko Suprianto, of course, a former world champion himself back in 1993.
And earlier, when he was with the national team, he coached Sony Konkoro when he emerged on the international scene, and I'm quite sure that Joko is a very, very knowledgeable singles coach. I think the improvement of both Tommy Sugiarto and also Dionysios Rumbaka. I think they've improved during the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
6 all.
I'd go further than that though, Steve. I'd extend it beyond the men's singles players. I think there's a new belief and a new enthusiasm throughout the entire Indonesian team.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Goodness
Excellent
me.
defense.
And again. Great rally. Phenomenal defence early on in that rally from Vittinghus. Twice picked up shots that I didn't think were possible.
And a good start for both players actually, because it's quite high quality of this
Yeah, very
game
high
we're
quality.
seeing right now.
Yeah. I've watched Hans-Kristian Vittinghus play on many occasions, Steen, and I suppose if I had one criticism of him, I love watching him play, but it's almost as if he loves playing so much that he wants the rallies to go on, and the number of times I sort of think you've worked the rally, you've got your opponent out of position, finish it off, but no, he keeps the shuttle going, and you know, he misses chances to me.
Yeah. You'd say that he's perhaps still a bit unused to being where he is. I don't think he really believed that he would actually make top 15 in the world at some point 3 or 4 years ago in his career. I think he doubted that he would actually reach this level, so I think he's just so delighted being there.
Oh, indecision. Yeah, cost him dear.
And this is one of the things with Vittinghus that can. Sometimes he loses these quite easy points, and I think he won't get many easy points back from Tommy Sugiarto. So they could prove costly. Another thing from what we discussed about his personality, that he's a person that has other interests than badminton, has views on sports and stuff, and that means sometimes he gets to think a little bit too much in his matches, to think about the situation, what he's doing, will it go okay, and so on, instead of just staying in the moment and just concentrate on the next round.
I appreciate your point there, Steen, but you know, I think it's in a way a breath of fresh air to have a player that's got so many interests. He does a lot of charity work, raises money for Solibad, which is Badminton Without Borders, and the fact that he has other interests, he takes an interest in the culture he's in, and you know, to me there's too many athletes in too many sports that are all me, whereas of course he's interested in his results, but he's also interested in the countries he goes to, everybody's well-being, and to me it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Lovely guy. But perhaps you're right. I mean, perhaps to be the very best.
Sometimes you can be too nice.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Because you need to have that ruthless streak, don't you, to be at
least on the court you need to, yeah.
Yeah. Sugiarto got himself back level. Well, 1 point at this stage at the mid-game interval, I think, is only a psychological advantage. Of course, still a long way to go. Well, we thought this would probably be a very interesting encounter. Look at this athleticism. That's outrageous. That's how quickly it gets up as well.
It was Lin Dan who introduced this special technique in the defense, and of course other players have copied since then.
We'll have to... Ooh, I thought we would have a let there because a shuttle came onto the court. Well, the umpire was slightly slow to notice, but I was surprised that it hadn't been called initially.
Yeah, it seemed as he called it after the rally had finished.
Yeah. Bounced off the top of the tape, went over, and immediately apologises for his good fortune.
Well played there by Vittinghus.
Yeah, I like it when he's positive coming forward.
Yeah.
Rather than just playing the net shot, really wanting to impose himself at the net, and that's good play.
It's also a sign that he feels comfortable on court right now, because it's so easy to see when he's uncomfortable, he's not taking these rushes towards the net.
Isn't that nice? A little smile between the two players, because Tommy Sugiarto is well aware that had that not fallen back Vittinghus' side, he would have never got anywhere near it. Would have been an outright winner.
Vi skal op og have en bue på, og så hen over ham med tryk på.
Highly successful as a player with Jens Eriksen. European champions and world number ones.
Yeah.
Good judgment.
Very good tactician, Jesper Larsen. Of course, his main area is the doubles, but can coach the singles as well.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Jesper Larsen was also chair of the Players' Federation as well. Another very thoughtful man. Certainly some Indonesian fans in, chanting Tommy's name. Taken by the Indonesian, and it is once again the hesitation from the back of the court from Vittinghus. Yeah, look, he's taking that shoulder height.
Yeah, and it's just a loser. I mean, he just as well let it fall because there's no way he was going to win that. 5 quick points here.
Yeah. There's Joko Suprianto on the right as we look at them. And a certain Marley Manaki there as well. And 6 straight points.
Prøv at se, om vi kan få lov til at styre ind i banen med ham, klar med kitchen.
Seven straight points. You just simply cannot afford that at this level.
And we can see that he cannot really get into the rallies. I believe it's the lobs of Tommy Sugiarto. They're really, really good at the moment, making it extremely difficult for Vittinghus to gain any control of the rallies. I would actually like to see a split screen with an old taping of Joko Suprianto, because I believe that there's a lot of similarities in their playing style. Very elegant player as a player, Joko Suprianto.
Who did he beat in his World Championship final?
Not really sure, but probably Adi Björnata. He was beaten a number of finals the way I recall it. But, it was 20 years ago that he won the Worlds.
That's right. That was my last World Championship.
In Birmingham.
That's right. Well, it needs a big effort here from Vittinghus.
Yeah, but he got 3 quick points back.
Forced to lift short by the quality of the net shot from Tommy Sugiarto. That's great control there from the Indonesian. Look, his feet nowhere near the back of the court. And the slice shuttle to bring up game point opportunities. Yeah, that's one well saved.
So 17-20.
Yeah, pushed it long.
18-20.
2 game points saved. Another 2 remain for Sugiarto. This time, third time lucky. For the number 8 seed, Tommy Sugiarto secures the opening game. 21-18. 21 minutes of play. Well, he looks pretty relaxed, does Tommy Sugiarto. I'm very relieved that he's got that opening game under his belt.
Code 1, 20 seconds.
There's no reason why he shouldn't be confident. I mean, new coaching team, and suddenly he starts winning matches, even tournaments. So
Yeah, that was a huge thing for him to win the Singapore Super Series. Beat the 2012 winner, Insap Ponsana, in the final this year.
again, very, very good luck. Good length. Putting Vittinghus under a little bit of pressure, forcing him to make a decision to go for it, and an easy point for Sugiarto. Then easy one back to Vittinghus here. Wide.
He's landed in, he could have played it, could have reached it. Yeah, he knows it. A little tap on the head. Wrong decision. He actually took his racket away.
Well played. Good smash and good follow-up from the Dane.
Not ready.
and sort of loses the balance in the middle of that rally. I think perhaps he's applying a little bit too much power to his smashes, because unless it's a really good chance, it's not going to go down on Tommy Sugiarto anyway. Tommy's got an excellent defense, so the only thing he gets is getting himself out of balance and opening opportunities to the Indonesian.
Oh, it's called good. I have to say, I'm slightly surprised at the call.
3-all.
Oh, what did you think?
It's very, very difficult to see even in the replay, but my initial reaction was I was surprised that it was called good.
Yeah.
I thought it was the same thing that happened again, that he was forced to making this attacking shot on a really good lob from Tommy.
Now, perhaps we ought to just set the record straight about Tommy Sugiarto's coach, Sugiarto. And of course, it was Hermawan Santoso who he defeated
3.
in the final of those World Championships in Birmingham in 1993. Susanto.
Hermawan Susanto, that's right. Yeah. Indonesia totally dominating the men's singles in the beginning of the 90s.
Yeah, and I suppose we ought to make mention, it wasn't just men's singles, was it? I mean, last year at the London Olympic Games was the first time in the history of Olympic badminton competition that Indonesia failed to win a medal. So, been consistently good since badminton's first Olympics in Barcelona in 1992. And I suppose that was the catalyst for everybody saying, right,
now we're going to make a change.
yeah.
Service 6-5.
Well played.
Very well played.
Very patient.
7-5.
Yes, very nicely done. All of a sudden, he's commanding the rallies.
Yeah. Good shot. I wasn't really sure if if Tommy had the right length on his lift there, but it seemed long enough in the replay.
And you say, no.
Yeah, it was.
He's taking it too late or going for the wrong shot?
No, when Vittinghus put pressure on Tommy in his backhand corner, he moved towards the net. That's good, because he needs to look for the opportunities. But then the shuttle was played long to the baseline and surprised Vittinghus, and he tried to hit an attacking shot. And he should just play conservatively and just say, okay, it's level again. There's no opportunity for me.
7-9.
Match in progress, just 31 minutes. But you can see how both men are perspiring very heavily. In fact, Vittinghus, his hair absolutely sodden with perspiration.
But it's always like that, even if it's only 5 degrees in the hall. Vittinghus is always soaked.
But it is very hot, humid conditions here in Guangzhou. Well played. Yeah, he liked that.
10.
Yeah, he has good reason too. Well, I think he actually touched the shuttle, didn't he, before it landed out?
Yeah, looked so. The line judge called it in, so he didn't notice. No, he didn't touch it.
No, he didn't.
But it also looked in to me there.
Yeah.
We have to appreciate that they have only a split second to make the decision, those line judges, and
Yeah.
they're correct more times than I am up here.
Yeah. So it's the Dane who has the advantage at the mid-game interval. 3-point advantage to be precise.
The match in court 3 will start soon. Please welcome the technical officials and the athletes to the court of play.
Well, it's amazing to me, Steen, the way that Tommy Sugiarto in the opening game seemed to be commanding the rallies, and Vittinghus doing all the reactive work, and now it seems to be the complete opposite now in the second.
Yeah, it seems like it has changed. I don't know if it's because Sugiarto is a little bit more passive, or because Vittinghus is placing his shots better than before.
20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
I think what worked for Sugiarto in the first game was these very, very flat lob shots. Basically to Vittinghus' backhand corner, but sometimes also to his forehand corner straight from Sugiarto's backhand side. And that worked wonders for him in the first game. He hasn't really succeeded in doing the same here in the first part of the second.
Competing in court 3 of men's single are Macau, Russia, and Diamond Liu, Malaysia.
Well played.
The umpire, Ichi Japan. Service judge, Wang, Belgium.
He's really much more aggressive now, Vittinghus, and I think that's the advice he'd been given by Jesper Larsen. Gotta take some chances.
Oh, well, that was a chance, and a chance missed.
9-13.
Some of the skills that Vittinghus could develop even further, his ability to kill the shuttle from the first half, perhaps 60% of the court. When he was a young player, he had a very, very hard smash. He still does, but as a young player, it was enough to win it from the baseline. Now he has to win it from the first 60% of the court. And you need some extra skills there.
10-13.
Good shot.
Well, it's cool goods.
14.
By Jesper Larsen.
Well, my instinct was it was wide. Yes, that was wide.
I think so.
Well, I can sympathise with Tommy Sugiarto. Well, I do wish we could hear what they were saying. I can't hear anything. Did you?
No, I didn't pick anything up.
No. I think he was probably saying, look, that's twice that
Yeah.
calls on that particular line.
It's also Vittinghus is shouting yes,
Yeah,
and no matter what, it's just going to affect the line judge. I mean,
yeah.
so
10.
I don't know really what to do. Should we ban the players from shouting yes, or should it be a game of who can shout yes first, or what are we going to do about it? There's no doubt it's going to influence them.
Yeah. Well, of course, there has been talk and there's been testing, and they're having electronic replays and graphics of whether shuttle would have landed in or out, or
Yeah.
seeing super slow-mos and
I
things
look
like that.
forward to getting that implemented in badminton.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt. I think Hawkeye in tennis has added to the crowd's involvement of,
Yeah.
well, if you're a cricket follower, and I'm not particularly a cricket follower, but my goodness, the use of the third umpire and the Ashes tests at the moment in England, Australia, happening in England, of course, and great use of the third umpire and challenging calls and decisions, and it's the way the sport is moving. And I think, picking up on a point that you made earlier, the sport has got to develop along with every other sport that's developing. But we're not at that stage yet. I don't think the technology is quite ready. It needs to be tested a little bit more, because when it's implemented, we need to get it right. Well played.
He's holding on to his lead here. Built it at 13-8.
Crucial few rallies coming up right now. interfere from Sugiarto, woefully short.
30.
And Vittinghus now just 3 points away from forcing a third and deciding game. No one's called good.
19.
It's very, very easy points he's scoring.
This time I agree with the line judge. Ooh, do I?
It's just not in a good angle that we're getting that in, and the camera isn't exactly on the line. And Tommy is looking a bit shaky at the moment. Doesn't really know what to do.
Well, on a run of 4 straight points, here comes 7 game points. Well, it's one saved, but one suspects that the Indonesian has left it a little too late in this game.
What's interesting here is that it's called wide by the sideline judge, but it's called good from the baseline judge, and that's really important. I think Vittinghus has played excellently to the backcourt from this side. Been able to put pressure on Tommy, getting him away from the front court.
Yeah, this time he converts. Third game point opportunity. Forces a third and deciding game. 21-15.
Ladies and gentlemen, the match in Court 2 will start soon.
43 minutes, and in essence we're back to square one. A little munch of his banana.
Når vi er på den side her nu, så skal vi ture og flytte den ned til baglinjen med tryk på. Ja. Så ikke høje bolde ned til baglinjen, trykket bolde ned til baglinjen, ligesom han prøver at gøre med dig her. Men det skal fart på dem, for hans fejl er, at han spiller dem for blødt, ikke også? Og for flat, så vi kan bryde ham. Det skal vi ikke gøre. Vi skal hen over ham med fart på.
One thing about Jesper Larsen is that he's very, very convincing as a coach. I'm not sure he's always that convinced himself, but his body language when talking to the players is convincing, and that's important. That's important that you believe that your coach is convincing, so that you believe that he's got everything covered from the chair.
I første sæt, der er det meget få gange, at han tør 4 angrebsflier. Så når du har ham på baglinjen, så kommer der noget ind mod, altså enten et defensivt flier, eller noget ind til. Vi skal få en second.
Competing in Court 2 of women's doubles are Yulian Ye, USA, TianHe, Anastasia Shibaikova, Russia.
Jesper's not working on a daily basis with the national team. He is hired in for this event and practicing with the players over the summer and, of course, coaching this tournament. But that also gives you a little bit more free roll, as you don't need to think about what's going to happen when we get home from the World Championship. So you can be quite blunt if you need to.
Yeah.
Long.
He started this deciding game in positive fashion that he finished the first. Or, pardon me, the second. And that's always, I know I said it in the opening game, Steen, a number of times Vittinghus, I think he plays the rallies well, he gets himself in a winning position and doesn't have the courage to really finish it off.
Well, that's when he starts thinking, the way I see it.
Yeah. Well, a sign that Sugiarto has just upped his intensity, upped his pace.
Yeah, that was more like the Sugiarto we saw in the first game, but there were no sign of that in the second game. It was Vittinghus controlling everything.
Wasn't on balance as he tried to play that winning smash, Vittinghus. Oh,
excellent.
Very well taken.
2, 3.
Because Sugiarto gotta say to himself, what the hell was that? What's he doing there? Why is he suddenly there? Why is he so quick? And probably that would prevent him from playing that shot in the next 3 or 4 rallies.
That's gone long.
Deception.
Yeah, and that's beautifully found the line. The Sugiarto looks to me as if he's disappointed in the call. That, I think, was absolutely the correct decision.
It's definitely been the right strategy to sacrifice a little bit of power in the smashes and then make them a bit more precise. It really worked well for Vittinghus here in the second game and the beginning of the third.
Oh, with the Dane as well.
5, 3.
And I suppose the other dynamic we've got to add into all of this, Steen, is the fact that, well, really until the last month or so, Sugiarto didn't have to shoulder the burden of expectation from his nation. You had Taufik Hidiat, former world and Olympic champion, Sonny Dwi Kunchoro, Simon Santoso. And now Sugiarto is the highest ranked Indonesian, and because he's won the Singapore Super Series, all of a sudden people are expecting, and it's a new pressure for him. It's a good rally.
And his teammate Simon Santoso lost the first match here, and should Tommy also lose, I mean, it would be a little bit of a blow to the Indonesian comeback that we're expecting.
Yeah. it's a funny old thing, pressure in sport, isn't it? Because unless you've really experienced it and been very closely involved with players, I mean, it's, you know, people talk about the big breakthrough, and once you've had the big breakthrough, then it's much easier. It actually becomes, in a way, much more difficult, because all of a sudden people expect, and you can't produce week in, week out.
I remember the year where Peter Gade was injured with his knee injury in 2001 after the Worlds. In 2001 he was out for almost a year, and Anders Boesen and Kenneth Jonassen had the chance to play first men's singles in the Thomas Cup and the Europeans and so on. And they said, wow, it's a whole different feeling starting the team match, and you know that it's 0-0 and everybody's expecting you to put a point on the scoreboard. Yeah. It's so hard.
Yeah.
I think it's almost impossible for people not involved in high-level sports to understand what nerves can do to you.
Yeah. Magnificent. Well, Steen, you and I were there for the Super Series finals at the end of last year when Hans-Kristian Vittinghus reached the semi-final stage. Played some great badminton that week. Most notable victory, I suppose, over Kenichi Targo. And sad that Targo hasn't been able to participate in these World Championships due to injury.
He's been quite a lot injured for the past 2 years, Targo, the way I see it. Got a breakthrough reaching the All England final, but since then it's pretty much been expectations at the most, but very few results to back it up.
Perhaps exactly what we've just been talking about with Tommy Sugiarto. Suddenly, #1 Japanese player, and like Sugiarto, very famous parents. That's good, but I have my doubts about that one. Of course, Yoni Kura, Targo's mother, won a bronze medal at the 1980 World Championships. So not only have you got the burden of expectation of a nation wanting you to do well, not wanting, expecting you to do well.
Also your parents.
Also you that inevitable comparison with your parents.
And it probably, most likely isn't so, but it's so easy to perceive it like that. Seen 3 rallies that could have gone each way, but all 3 rallies have gone Vittinghus' way. Sugiarto pushed one long and 2 shuttles that just hit the net and rolled over to Sugiarto's side. I don't know if it's backed up by statistics, but sometimes as a coach you feel that this is our day today.
No, you certainly sense it as a player, and you on occasions in the
some points that are a bit more psychological than others.
Yeah, it's well played, Sugiarto. Nicely done.
The problem for Vittinghus is that he's actually still been playing quite well here in the beginning of the third, but he hasn't been able to pull away from Sugiarto. It's still a 1-point game.
One game all, 9 all. And from nowhere, really. 5 of the last 6 points are going to Sugiarto. My goodness me, what a change in momentum. Well, I don't want to take anything away from Tommy Sugiarto, but it's all happened in a bit of a blur to me. Vittinghus seemed to have to work so hard to gain his lead, his 8-5 advantage, and 6 of the last 7 points going to the Indonesian.
20 seconds.
Yeah, and you're right about the blur, because how did it actually happen? I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even remember.
No.
I think now is the time where you should be very careful with how much information you try to give Vittinghus right now, because we know that he's a thinker, that
11, 9,
there will be a lot of thoughts going through his head now, so don't add to them, just let him have fun. He played well on that side in the second game. Well played by Tommy.
Yeah, that's courageous too.
Sort of anticipating that shot. It was so successful for Vittinghus in the second game, that little deceptive lift. This time he was ready for it.
Wow.
10, 12.
7 of the last 8 points. Time for the Dane to switch the momentum back his way.
Pressure there applied by Tommy Sugiarto.
13, 11.
Just a minute shy of the hour mark now. This men's singles encounter. As the court attendant comes on just to mop up the perspiration. Understandable that both players taking the opportunity just to towel down and take on board some liquid. And the match clock has just ticked over the hour mark.
Played by Tommy here. Good defense. And then attack to the body of Vittinghus.
Anything you can do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's called in. That's a shocker. I'm looking straight down that line. Oh, dear, dear me. Well, I really feel for Tommy Sugiarto. Well, couldn't see from that angle. You're right, the camera not looking straight down the line. I could clearly see that. I don't know what you felt, Steen, but I thought it was just wide.
I'm agreeing with you, Joe. That was my first intuition. It was going wide.
Such a crucial stage too. Well, no overrule by the umpire. The umpire is allowed to do so if he sees that a clear error has been made, and I suppose when it's fairly close like that, you can argue it's not a clear error.
Playing close to the line, Vittinghus.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit outside, but this was clearly in.
Yeah, no question.
Whoa.
Well,
this was the first time in the third game that Thomas Sugiarto had gotten lucky.
Yeah. I was just going to say, after that, those line calls where you and I disagreed with the decision made, it deserved a bit of luck. It's no wonder he ends up with knee injuries, really, is it? Landing full body weight on that right knee.
Oi.
Yeah, good rally.
Well played.
So the Dane back into the lead.
So exciting, 15-16. And there's no doubt in my mind that attack is going to win this match. And luck, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, what else is this match going to throw at us? My goodness me. Oh, my goodness. Well, he could have nightmares about this missed backhand tonight if he doesn't come through this encounter. That was a real opportunity for Vittinghus. taken. And one just senses that the momentum has shifted back to the Indonesian. 3 straight points. But it's the manner in which he's won those 3 straight points. If you're a Danish fan, you'll be mightily concerned right now. Well, they're both feeling the nerves.
There's so much tension in this court right now.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. This is crucial, absolutely crucial. Clever smash from Tommy Sugiarto. Wasn't prepared to go for the lines. Straight at his opponent. The jamming smash paid dividends. Well, once again, you could have cut the atmosphere with a knife. So much tension. They're still getting advice from Jesper Larsen. Looking at you, Steen, I'm almost sensing that you're thinking, don't tell him too much, just let him play by instinct. New racket for Sugiarto. And he's just 2 points away from a place in the second round. Just one precious point needed for the Indonesian. That's gone long. And all credit to the number 8 seed, Tommy Sugiarto, coming through in the third and deciding game in an absolute thriller against Hans-Kristian Vittinghus of Denmark. My goodness me.
15, 21, 21, 17.
Well, the tension from both players was quite obvious. And I remember saying the missed backhand at the front of the court from Vittinghus could give him nightmares. I hope he sleeps well tonight and doesn't think about that missed opportunity. Their confirmation of the score, 21-18, 15-21, 21-17 in an hour and 9 minutes. Well, with the conclusion of that thrilling men's singles, we can reflect on what's happened today. It all started with mixed doubles. Japanese pair coming through safely there against the youngsters from the Czech Republic. Men's singles, the number 1 seed, Lee Chong-wei, well, as smooth as ever. Du Pengyu, the number 3 seed from China. My goodness me, he was made to work hard. An hour and 25 minutes against Song Wan-ho from Korea. Then women's doubles, and yet another very, very good Japanese women's doubles pair emerging onto the world scene. Then we had Lin Dan, the defending world champion, in fact 4-time world champion and 2-time Olympic champion. No problems for him in only his second tournament since those London Olympic Games. Then Chen Long, the number 2 seed, well, he was just emphatic in his match. Then we had women's doubles, and the Germans just a little bit too good for their Hong Kong opponents. Mixed doubles followed that, and a bit of a chaotic scenes at the end of the opening game between the Chinese and Malaysians, where the umpire seemed to lose score. We were all confused, we didn't know what was happening, and sadly for the Malaysians, they fell away badly in the second game. Then we had women's doubles, and what a fighting display by the Russians, forcing Go and Lim to go the full distance. And as we've just witnessed, a wonderful, wonderful men's singles. Tommy Sugiarto of Indonesia, the number 8 seed, coming through a thriller against the quarter-finalists from 2 years ago, Hans-Kristian Vittinghus of Denmark. Well, that concludes all action from day 1 of competition here at the World Badminton Championships. Do join us tomorrow, 1 o'clock local time, from Steen, from Richard and myself, Jill Clark, and everyone here in Guangzhou. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.